The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Here's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball Show. It is draft time, live draft going on for you tonight as we pick in our 10-team points league for Belly Up Sports. That's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball Show.
Play ball!
Welcome in to another edition of the Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball Show presented by BellyUpFantasySports.com, Righteous Felon Jerky, and Seat Geek. And we got to get right to the program tonight. So joining me as he does every Sunday nights, the senior fantasy writer from BellyUpFantasySports.com, the one and only Kevin Wilson. And I pushed the wrong button. There we go. Here he is. Kev, how you doing, man?
I'm excited, Vince, because we're doing a live draft, but we were on vacation this week, which came to an end today, so that's kind of boo. Yeah. But I'm ready to start this draft and to see how things roll from here. I'm very excited.
All right, so our draft actually kicks off here in 1 minute and 20 seconds. No, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's coming up very soon. I want to hit a couple quick things before pick number one is on the clock, and that is Garrett Cole. Shared some thoughts on social media about this earlier. The injury has him sitting right now as not needing surgery. We were just talking about this off the air, but it sure seems like he's going to have to get surgery at some point soon enough. Where do you take Garrett Cole? Do you take Garrett Cole?
I do not. And because I saw that he's currently number 40 on ESPN, which is where we're drafting right now, which means 5th round. And I've heard the same things. And we've talked about this. And I think he's going to need that surgery. And so he's going to be out more than likely to me this entire season. And the later he goes and waits for the surgery means he'll be out next year as well. So I hope that's not what happened. He's a great pitcher, even though he pitches for the Yankees. But I just don't see him as being a draft guy this year. Someone's going to take him, and it's going to be way earlier than I would do it. So go ahead and do that if that's what you want to do.
I'm scared to death of Garrett Cole right now. I had him at first news. I had him drop down to the second round, then get more information. And I said, I don't think I can take Garrett Cole. And we were talking off air, if he's there in the 10th round, it might be worth a swing on him. But my fear is he plays maybe a month and then has to get Tommy Johns and then he's done. And I don't know that I can afford to spend a draft pick on him this year. So I'm hoping somebody takes him. We're at a point where I don't have to
off of my shoulders, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly right. Any changes at number one for you, Kevin? We've been saying Ronald Acuna.
None.
Okay,
absolutely none, because the news is positive on him all the way around. So, Mike Brown, go ahead, take 8 seconds, pick Acuna, and let the rest of us fight over, the rest of the guys. But Acuna's number one easily.
I agree. All right, so here's what we got going on. 30 seconds till pick number one is on the clock. We've got 10 teams. We've got members of the Belly Up Sports Network in the league with us. And throughout the night, we've got a couple guests that'll come on to cover a couple rounds with us, try to get some strategy and things from them as well. We'll keep you up to date on which picks are going off. And but pick number one is the Belly Up Sports co-founder, Mike Brown, the Ohio Down to Clowns. And we're going to see. He's a Tiger fan. Okay. And let's be honest, he could surprise us here.
So here we go.
I will not be surprised if he goes somewhere other than Acuna, just because he likes to be different sometimes. If you're not going to go Acuna at one, Mike, where are you looking? Or Kevin, sorry.
If I'm not doing Acuna, then I would argue that Betts is the next highest player, just simply based off that versatility he already has, but he's going to have even more of it. And so I like him a lot, not just because he's a Dodger, but that helps. And just that you can put him wherever you need to. As soon as he plays shortstop in, 10 games or 15 or whatever it is on ESPN, I like him. And if the rest of you want to go ahead and not draft him till number 5, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and we get through one pick, and it is Ronald Acuna. And
Okay.
did Mike make that pick, or is that an auto pick?
It went down to the last second, whatever he did right there.
Here.
So
It's always good to see commitment to a league. There.
Right, and so now this is Elizabeth. She's on the clock. She's never done fantasy baseball before ever. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens here.
And she's a Rockies fan.
Rockies. So please don't. Well, if you want to take a Rocky right here, you go ahead and do that. But
yeah, that shouldn't play in a whole lot, I don't think, to what's going on here for sure. I'm also have a Yahoo draft starting in 20 some minutes, and I hate Yahoo.
I did it once, we had a belly up league on Yahoo a couple years ago, and I wasn't blown away.
So two picks in.
So there goes Mookie. So I don't blame that at all. He's the second best fantasy player on the planet.
Let's see here. Brent's on the clock. Brent will be joining us here in a few minutes as well. He's a Yankees fan. Juan Soto is the Yankee on the board right now. Do you go pitcher or do you go?
No, it's too early for pitcher. Soto all day long. If it wasn't Betts at number 2, Soto's number 2 to me.
Trying to get a hold of our members and making sure they show up for this draft. All right, Kyle Tucker goes.
Oh,
wow.
What
just happened here? Juan Soto goes 3.
I was not going to mention this at all because of the Garrett Cole scenario, because I wanted Spencer Strider, and here he is. And so I talked about 8 seconds.
All right, hold on a sec, Kev, while you're talking. But Juan Soto goes 3, which was expected. Kyle Tucker goes 4 to Dan D'Amico. That really surprises me.
It blows me away because we've talked about Tucker.
Yeah.
And neither one of us are climbing the fences for him. But
and listen, he's good. I don't mean to take that away. I just don't like him. And then having Strider there at 5, I really thought number 3 was the good spot for a pitcher. You liked it later at 5, and that's what happens. Now guys are flying off the board. Jose Ramirez goes 6. Freddie Freeman goes 7. I'm on the clock, and I have oh my goodness, I don't know what to do here, Kev. Because I got picks that you're going to mock me for, but there's a reason why I've been in the championship the last 2 years.
Okay.
So I'm gonna blow the socks off you because I don't want anybody to steal this guy from me. I'm gonna go pitcher Corbin Burns here in the first round.
I don't hate that at all. I think he could have been there at the turn for you.
Possibly.
Yeah. I would have bet on that if it was me because I like him too. But when you look at these options, Zach Wheeler's off the board now. I like him better than Zach Wheeler. I like Wheeler, but I like Corbin better. So
and my fear was, Kevin, my dad would like him better too. And he picks twice in between me. We're going to bring Dad on now as he's going to join us for the next 2 rounds. Dad, welcome to the show.
Hey, how we doing?
Good. Yeah, you took Zach Wheeler with your pick. Is that who you wanted all along?
I would have took either Burns or him. So
there you go.
That's what we would have done. So,
but you say that it's your pick again.
That worked out for you then, Vince, because he would have been gone either way.
Yeah.
All right, who are you taking here, Dad? 30 seconds left. Fernando Tatis. Wow.
Yep.
All right, so Kev, it's my pick. I'm going to talk for a second here, and actually, I'm going to get a guy that was in my top 8, so I'm pretty excited about this. But let's critique a little bit here, Kevin, with Dad. He goes Fernando Tatis here in the second round. How do you like?
I would have taken Carroll myself.
Well, that's who I'm taking. So
okay, I like Carroll. He's got everything, and he's younger than Tatis. He's less volatile, and so I would have went Carroll here.
Yeah, Carroll was my 8th ranked player that I had set up. I had Burns at 6 and Carroll at 8. So to get them both is pretty exciting for me. Dad, what you're thinking on Tatis? I like him.
Yeah, he was just a guy I liked, and I didn't think he would be around at the next pick. So I debated between 2 or 3 guys, but he was the guy that seemed like, the guy to go with there. So
Yeah, and that's the deal, right? When you're picking where Dad's picking on the turn, you have a long time before you pick again. Shohei Ohtani gets taken off the board, pick number 4 in the second round, followed by
Chase
Jordan
takes
Alvarez.
Jordan. You can't argue with that. So now
Yeah.
I'm back on the clock, and I've got a couple pitchers here.
I was gonna say,
but I
talk
already
to us
took
through
a
about
pitcher.
your plan here. What's your mindset going into this pick?
Since I already took a pitcher, but I like these guys a lot. So what I'm going to do is, and I can't believe this, I'm going to take Castillo right here, and that gives me 2 of the top starters in all of baseball to head my fantasy team.
All right, so
that's
why Castillo over Gossman, who's injured, and Lopez, who's right there in that range as well?
I like Lopez, but I like Castillo a little bit better. I think that he's been better. I think he pitches for the better baseball team. So I just think it might be just a little bit, but I think his stats are going to be better. His points are going to be better. So that won the day for me. So if I hadn't taken Castillo, I would have taken Bobby Witt comes off the board. I would have done that and been happy with that. But everybody tries to discount pitching, but I do not. So I'm pretty happy with the 2 pitchers I have at the top of my staff.
Clock is running, and Brent
There goes Gossman off
Radlitsky
the board
goes
now.
Kevin
So
Gossman
that
off
injury
the board.
scares me about him. So that's
I'm
why I
interested
didn't
to see.
consider.
I'm not as scared on him as I am. I wasn't as high on him as I was Cole. Obviously, nobody is, but
No.
I like it, and I'm interested to see kind of where it goes with that. Dad, talk to us a little bit about the mindset though of waiting now a long time between picks. You already talked about why you picked Tatis. What are you looking at leading up to your next pick?
Well, again, you just have to make some plans because you don't know exactly who's going to be there. So I've probably got 4 guys, and I think one of those 4 will be there. And same way you have to look at both hitters, you have to look at what pitchers are left. And at this point, maybe somebody's going to slide that I didn't expect to be there. But basically, to me, you got to go through the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then then you start looking and filling holes where you need positions, but you don't want to look at positions at this point yet.
Kevin loses his hopeful pick of Julio Rodriguez. Man, they're flying off the board now. Aaron Nola, Terry Skubal. Skubal goes number 2 in the 3rd round, followed by Lopez.
Okay, Lopez, I can buy that.
Yes, Skubal is a guy that there's a time and a place for him, but it's not 3rd round, 2nd pick, in my opinion, of course.
No.
I like it though, because that means more players are dropping to me than I was expecting. So that's a positive thing.
Okay, Kirby off the board.
My goodness,
I'm not as big on him as some. I would have taken Webb over him, just as an example there. So now my question is Aaron Judge, which I like.
Yeah,
but he's got an injury or not.
Or do you go a top 3?
Be okay.
A top
so
pitcher
I'm gonna go.
Still there.
I'm gonna go Simeon here.
Interesting pick, Simeon. Okay.
I like Simeon, second baseman. You know he's going to play every single second of every single day. So, and second base is a position that I think is going to, drain out pretty fast. So,
this is intriguing.
So I'm going to do that.
Logan Webb goes now.
Okay.
Dad was probably Dad. Were you hoping Webb would fall to you?
I didn't think he would originally. It looked like, I had him queued up. I thought maybe that was a possibility.
Man, oh day. Now I've got gracious.
Bryce Harper's off the board.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
It's like you're sitting here with Aaron Judge. Oh man. And other guys here as well that I like. Oh my goodness. Can add the pitching strength here. That's probably what I should do. We're going to go Zach Gallen here.
Okay.
Get
Some
a couple
people
top
have
tier
talked
pitchers.
about how he pitched so many innings a year ago,
Yeah.
but he's big, he's strong. That does not concern me one bit.
And I like Aaron Judge, but he already has limited at bats. It seems like every year the Yankees have health issues. It seems like, and this high in the draft again, a chance to get a top pitcher is still a priority in my opinion. And there's a lot of really good players, and we're running out of top tier pitchers at this point. Is kind of my reasoning behind that. Dad goes last down. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So, Dad, how did the first 3 rounds go in your mind for you?
Well, it didn't go quite like I thought they would. I got some players that, a couple almost slid to me that didn't. And like I said, I've got one more pick coming up here around. It looks like I'm going to, have somebody really good for that one. So overall, I'm, pretty pleased how it's starting. You never know how a draft's going to go, and we've got new people in here this year. Whenever there gets to be a run, that makes it tricky, 3 or 4 from the same position. And that's kind of what happened here with the pitchers all of a sudden. So, just had to react to that and see. I'm hoping Kevin's pitcher will come through for me.
All right. So he's looked good in the spring. So I'm higher on him now than before we started.
Jesus Luzardo just went off the board, Kev.
Jesus Luzardo?
Yeah. Now I know that guy that just drafted him has been drinking heavily today, and it's showing in his picks here right now. Dad, we're going to let you go and bring on someone else. Good luck throughout the season. We'll check in with you, of course, every Wednesday night on the Sports Stove podcast.
Okay.
Have fun.
Good deal. Thanks a lot.
Good.
Yeah. He's picking again. We distracted him while he was picking. All right, let's bring in the champ from last year. The champ is here. The champ is here. That's the one and only Chase Thornton. What's up, Chase?
How we doing, gentlemen?
Hero.
Yeah, well, I don't know about hero, but we got a win out of it anyway last year. Trey Turner's gone. Okay.
Oh, man. So Trey Turner and Vlad Guerrero were guys I was looking at this spot. Man, it just seems like Aaron Judge is slapping me in the face, and I need to draft them.
At this point, you can't ignore this.
He's pretty good value at this point. He's lasted twice as long as he was expected to. So, yeah.
Man.
So Chase, how are you approaching this draft as opposed to last year?
Kind of the same, just trying to stay balanced and, really just looking for value, take what the board gives me. I mean, like we just talked about, Judge, on our queue, there you go. Ranked 17, we're up around now on pick 35. So, I mean, he lasts a long time like that. Those are the kind of guys you got to take a good hard look at when they fall that far, because you're not sacrificing any value at that point, but you got the potential to gain a ton. If he stays, I had him last year on my team. If he stays healthy this year, I mean, you've got a top 12 type pick there in the middle of the 4th round.
And I love this grouping of guys that's sitting here at the queue right now. Ozzie Albies, Adley Rutschman, Alex Bregman, Corey Seager, Jose Altuve,
second baseman probably says I shouldn't have taken Marcus Semien when I did.
Alex Bregman off the board to Chase.
Come on, Chase.
That's my second, third baseman.
I wanted right there. Man.
All right, now listen, Kev is a one catcher guy. He doesn't like having more than one catcher. There's no catcher who plays more baseball than Adley Rutschman.
Just so you know that. So
failing. Now, okay, I'm gonna write down who you take here, Kevin.
Okay, you're gonna
revisit it at the end of the year,
and I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna go Austin Riley.
All right, so we're gonna match up Riley's points with Rutschman's points at the end of the year.
Okay,
and we're gonna show you how big of a mistake that you made. Rutschman goes next. Riley's a great player, obviously, and you can't go wrong, I don't think, with him either.
Right. I was either going to do that or Lindor, and I think I can wait on a shortstop a little bit more than the third base.
Yeah, and you had Bregman queued up as well, right?
I did.
Before Chase took him.
So. That's what I'm saying. Chase needs an elbow right to the face right there.
Oh, you're welcome, friend. You're welcome.
Gunnar Henderson goes, I run on third baseman
I
here.
run on third baseman, and I've already got 2 of them, so.
Gunnar Henderson, like him a lot. We've talked about him.
Yeah.
He's got that dual eligibility, so there's a
Yep,
lot to
that's
like
a big
here.
help. Well,
Especially-
essentially it puts him at 4 spots in our lineup. You can use him at the corner infield. You can use him middle infield. You can use him at second. You can use him at short. He's all over the board. You can use him honestly at utility.
Yep.
Gunnar Henderson's nice pick there. Nice pick there. And since I'm eating up all the third basemen, somebody's got to grab one.
I've got some sleeper third basemen that I really want on my team. So third base has been one of those positions that I feel I can wait on.
Right.
Kevin mentioned first base earlier. But for me, third base is a spot. I like some of these guys down the road.
Right. You got to plan for it. And there are some real nice. I mean, there's some bounce back candidates. There's some young guys, some people in new spots.
At the very least, I didn't pick 2 third basemen in the first 5 rounds this year, so I got that.
That's all right. One of them can be my DH if I want to. I got Ramirez.
All right, we got people reaching for pitchers. Grayson Rodriguez goes.
Okay,
Altuve
I like
goes
him.
next. Alonso.
I like him way better than Kelly.
Alonso,
yes, but it seems like a reach at that spot to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but
now we got second baseman up the wazoo. Well, they're
first relief pitcher's gone. Oh, I can't wait to have Brent on. We're going to talk about this. First relief pitcher gone.
Way too early for a reliever. Way too early in my book for a reliever.
My philosophy is
because I did that a couple of years ago when I took Josh Hader. You said right when I did it, it's too early, and it turned out to be true. So,
but listen, Houston though is going to be stacked. I mean, there's rumor right now Blake Snell's headed to Houston.
I like shortstop for later. You know what I'm going to do right here?
What are you
going to go ahead and take Kyle Schwarber?
Oh my soul! I did not see that coming. Just because you don't like people who strike out, and Schwarber strikes out.
Yep.
Well, my thought process on that is because we've got to have 5 outfielders on our fantasy team.
Yeah.
And I think shortstop is a position that can be waited on.
Agreed.
So that's why I did what I did right there.
Ooh, interesting.
Strikeouts and all.
Yeah.
I did that.
Man, now we're in this stage, the queued up players, Seager, Lindor, Peralta.
There's some questions here.
Cole, Marte, Gilbert. These are not guys I'm comfortable with.
Seager would have went a second or way earlier if we knew definitively what his deal is, but we don't.
These next 2 rounds are no man's land. Like, you don't know what you're getting with these picks. And let's see here. So Chase goes Logan Gilbert. Then that's followed by Peralta. Chase, talk to me about Freddie Peralta, because you and I are Brewers fans.
Yeah.
We love him as a third pitcher in the rotation. He's the one this year. You obviously passed on him. What's your thoughts on Freddie Peralta?
He's the one by default this year. I just, like you said, I like him a lot better as a 2 or 3 than I do as a staff ace. And I don't necessarily know he's going to give you all the innings that Gilbert's going to. I like innings in my starters. I like guys that are going to give me more chips at the table there in terms of your pitching points. Peralta will be fine this year. I think I have nothing against him as a pitcher, and as a Brewers fan, I hope he does well. I think he's going to be just fine. But like I said, I like the innings, and I think Gilbert ends up with more innings than Peralta. Comparable counting stats there. So I'll take that.
Yeah, I like it. I go Seager here in the 5th. Shortstop should be ready by opening day. And I feel like that's a value pick there.
That's a great pick there
as well. I'm kind of getting lucky at this point.
If he's ready, that's a good pick. If he's not, then you could have had Lindor.
So. Yuri Perez is one I'm concerned about now.
Yep. Yuri Perez is a guy that just came out and said, well, he's out.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like that pick at all.
No.
But it's not my team, so I actually kind of like it. Yeah, good work, Cove. Good work.
Right. We have had some really strange pitchers come off the board in this draft.
We have.
Like you said, I mean, there's some injury risks among the top guys that are left at pitcher, but some of the guys that have gone so far, I mean, there's some pretty good bats that have been sitting there waiting to be picked that haven't gone just because people have been grabbing pitchers like that.
Yeah.
And here we have Garrett Cole. Speaking of which, Chase, we've talked about him. What's your feelings on him?
I'm scared of that injury. I don't want to end up in a Jacob deGrom type situation. So he's got me. He's going to have to fall pretty far for me to want to jump on him. To be dead honest with you, I'm a little more. I want to be a little more cautious with my injury positions than that. Oh,
Man, I hate this spot right now.
Go ahead and
Chase,
take Cole.
Chase,
Go ahead.
I'm not taking Cole. Chase, tell us now that you've been through the league for a year, you won the league. How much of your draft strategy is impacted by the knowledge of what you had through the league last year?
I think I had a much better idea of how to make a plan this year. Like I said, last year it was just basically try for the best value. I did research. I tried reading up on some guys. This year, like you said, I've got some guys that I can target. I've got some ideas of where guys are going to go. And I feel like I'm a little bit better prepared in terms of having a plan this year than just flying by the seat of my pants and going for value above all else. Still looking for value. Obviously, I want to make smart choices with who I take here, but I really feel a little bit more comfortable about how to construct my roster. And I also have the knowledge that what we all leave with today is not what we're going to have literally week 2. So, you want to nail these guys, especially in these early rounds here, but everything will change here.
I'm not feeling Snell at all.
Oh, I am. I almost took him.
He's not even on a team.
He's going to be on a team, Kev, and he's going to be on a good team. He's going to be on a good team. He's going to end up on the Yankees, the Rangers, or the Astros, and he's going to pitch a whole bunch of games, and he's going to pitch really well. The question is, this much time off, is there potential for an injury? That's the way I think, at least. That's why I didn't take him. I like Snell. I think it's good value even there as well. And we finally have a cursed player off the board. Thank you, Chase. The Cubs are going to experience the wrath of the baseball gods.
Chase,
Craig
this
Counsell.
man's calling down the,
No, I'm not calling it down. I'm forewarning Cubs fans. Craig Counsell, doing what he did to go to the Cubs, is calling on the baseball gods to curse the Cubs. And it's going to be an ugly season for the Cubs. Chase, we need to get to our next guest. But congrats to your championship run. Thanks for chatting with us tonight. We'll talk to you throughout the season.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll be around. Love you guys. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, man. We'll see you later. Chase Thornton, he's the champ, and he's just showing us how to do it right now. Let's bring on now Brent Redlinski. We're excited. We've already bashed on him for taking Josh Hader earlier here. But first of all, Brent,
I was listening to you Yahoos talk about that a little bit. Hader's a guaranteed to get a lot of points in fantasy, and then Kevin, you were saying Kyle Schwarber, he's going to strike out a ton as he does, and you were bashing me off the air when I was off the air about taking Hader, who's a guaranteed guy, over Kyle Schwarber, who does not. He'll hit 202 this year.
Yeah, but he'll hit 48 home runs, and
Yeah, butts live in the woods. In the woods, man.
Now you're up, Brent. You're up, right?
I got it right there. There it is. Right. I got Bo Bichette right there.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I like that.
All right, so tell us a little bit about. Well, let's start with the Cole stuff because you're a Yankees fan. How do you feel about Garrett Cole fantasy wise?
Fantasy wise, I wouldn't take him with a 10-foot pole because they kind of have been tiptoeing around the situation when he was just throwing on the side and he felt a tweak in his elbow and he said there's something not right here. He wasn't throwing hard. There's something not right here, and that guy knows his arm better than anybody else, and he's a baseball scientist, and he says like, something's not right here, and he went to management said something's not good here. I'm concerned as a Yankees fan because we're I don't want to say we're running out of years with Cole, but you're running out of years with Cole and Judge, and another injury year, then what? And this was a big year for the Yankees that they went out and got the Soto deal, so everything was kind of lining up, and I like the acquisition of Stroman. So it was all kind of lining up a little bit here this year for the Yankees. I'm not saying world championship, but to make a little bit of a run. And then all of a sudden, Judge, who's been a horse since he's got throughout his career, been a horse and it hasn't had any problems. Eventually, arms give out, and this is what happened with Garrett Cole this year, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Man, catcher went off the board that I was hoping to get. Contreras from Milwaukee just went off the board in the 7th
I'm up again
round.
Here.
Goodness.
I didn't
want Marte to. Goes. Paul Goldschmidt goes. Brandon Nimmo goes.
I didn't want to do this. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that are ish.
Like I wasn't.
What do you say?
Uh,
Yeah,
Ish. What do you
I'm
say,
scrolling
Brent?
down the list right now. I don't like these guys that are currently queued up on ESPN.
No, you know,
like
they're ish.
Brent's struggling
like,
here.
I am, because like we're talking about like Snell doesn't have anywhere to play yet. So
Yeah.
I like, and the thing with Snell, I was saying he's going to be a Yankee all of a sudden, all of a sudden it's a $60 million pitcher because of the salary cap and the tax and everything else. It's I got to find one here quick. I like talking too much. You know what? Let's go with this guy, Rosarina. He's going to have a bounce back
You
here.
got
Randy
you got-
Rosarina.
You took Garrett Cole though. You didn't
Yes,
beat the
you
clock.
did. You waited too long.
Oh no!
All right, so that solves the problem for the whole rest of us right here.
All right,
Yeah,
somebody
too much. It happens sometimes.
mark down the time. Tell the intern, clip it right there. Clip Brent saying, "I'm not going to touch Garrett
We
Cole."
need
I
stars
didn't mean
right
to.
here,
It's one of those
right
things.
now. All right, so I
Another
like
reliever
BS.
goes. By the way,
I don't like him here, however. And Quan, we've talked about him. And so I'm going to go ahead. I can't believe I'm doing this right now either, but I'm going to go ahead and do Zach Eflin.
Zach Eflin, Tampa. I don't like Tampa this year, fantasy wise, especially. I'm avoiding Tampa. Brent, I want to come back to you though with your fantasy baseball journey experience, your decision to join the league this year. We were very happy that you chose to join the
That's
league
right.
this year. What kind of history do you have?
I'm a bit of a, as you guys know, I'm a bit of a baseball junkie. It's all kind of, I do whatever I
right.
can do to be involved in the game any way I can. My wife's starting to hate me more and more the more I get involved with all this different stuff. And she goes, "Nothing. So now you're doing this?" I said, "Yeah, I'm doing this again." Because I was out of it for a
Well-
couple of years, and she goes, "Well, okay, whatever." She's a big Jays fan, so she's, well, who are you taking from the Jays? Who are you taking the Jays? Because they're going to big year. She has high hopes for Blue Jays this year, so she said you can. You're allowed to play. And she's kidding around.
Oh crap! I'm on the clock. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm reaching for guys at this point, but it's guys I like. And
Speaking of Jays, there's Bassett.
yeah, I'm at this point in the draft where I'm reaching for guys, but it's guys that I want on my team and guys that I
Christian
like.
Walker's the guy we've talked about.
Yeah, I'm a huge
And,
Christian Walker guy.
I am as well, but he moved way up as far as, when we first did first baseman, he was what, 15th, 16th round,
Yeah,
something like that. And now he just went off the board in the 7th. You talk about a guy who's really skyrocketed.
yeah, but you look at his points over the last couple of years, he's earned that spot
Absolutely.
to a degree.
But he's not the value that we thought he would be.
Vince, I heard you the other night talking on your show about different guys you're going to take, and you let your and I agree with you 100%. You sometimes your heart gets in front of your head with Marcelo Ozuna. I 100% agree with that take. There's guys you just I don't like you, so I'm not taking you. I don't care.
Yeah.
You get your morals get in front of you, and I quite like that about you, Vince. You stick to your guns. I quite like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just can't do it. There's guys, listen, none of them are great guys, probably. If you got to know them
Right.
and every
Nobody's
area, there's
singing
things.
Kumbaya around the campfire at night.
Yeah. But there are certain guys that he doesn't care that I don't draft.
No,
them,
and he's
but
only
still,
a DH, which does not help at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's another reliever. My goodness, relievers flying off the board here. Arozarena goes. I expected Dad would take him. He loves Randy Arozarena. Although he's only got outfielder eligibility, which to me limits a little bit of what he does.
Reagan. I like that a whole lot.
Oh, that's who I was going to take.
I like that a whole lot. That's a
man.
little earlier than I thought it would be.
No, that's
So
who
here
I
he
was
comes.
gonna take.
What's Brent talk? What do you think about Cease traded to San Diego?
I like him. He's going to get you some innings. He's going to put up some numbers. He's going to be fine. And he's in a contract year, so he's going to put it like he's going to one of those years you're going to say, okay, yeah, take your flyer on him. Absolutely. Like, it doesn't hurt at all to take out of Dylan Cease at all. Like, he's a very good, not great, but he's very good. And he's going to give himself a chance this year to make some money. And so he's going to have one of those years, or he'll blow his elbow. One of the two.
Yeah. Listen, I like
pitchers are so tough. It's so tough now. We talked about on our show last week about pitchers being starting pitchers kind of compared to NFL running backs now. They're just in and out. Just they're almost disposable. It's tough to say, not in the fantasy side of things, but in the actual baseball side of things, it's tough with pitchers. And look at Garrett Cole right there. It's one of
There
those
he
things.
goes off the board right now. Dylan Cease, we're talking about him.
well, Nate's listening. Nate's on. He's going to be our next guest, actually. And so he's queued up. He's paying attention to us. That's good. That's good to see. There's just a bunch of questionable guys, in my opinion, sitting here right now. I took Bassett. I battled between him and Cease. I like Cease, but I'll probably get Cease in other leagues. I probably won't get Bassett in other leagues. And so I figured I'd take a swing at him. Jordan Montgomery, though, is coming up pretty soon at some point, too.
Oh.
And so, Brent, I want to get your thoughts on him because he's been tied to the Yankees a whole bunch also.
Pulling at my heartstrings. They let him go a couple of years ago, and then it ends up being one of the integral parts of the Texas Rangers World Series championship. And he's a great pitcher. The Yankees should not let him go. So now they're going to overpay to probably bring him back, as in typical Yankee fashion. Like Cashman's not he's not stupid, but he's not an intelligent human being in the last couple of years, in my opinion. And it's hard. It's like you could have signed him 2 years ago, kept him around, not lost this, not lost that, and everything else. And now you're going to overpay for a guy that you don't know what you're going to get. Like he's great. He's very good. He's not great, but would he be welcome addition back in the Bronx? Probably, but he's not an upper echelon guy. He's not.
Well, your pick again. Make sure you don't get stuck with somebody else you don't want.
No, I got it. I'm making the jump here. I'm going for it right there. Mike Trout eventually is going to have it. He's going to have a healthy season. You know what?
Yeah, we talked about him.
Like when you get to this point in the draft, and whether it's a live draft or an actual draft, eventually you got to take the best available player. And Mike Trout is still Mike Trout.
I love Mike Trout, and I love that pick.
Eventually, it has to happen, right? You don't know who's going to be on base in front of him.
You were right, Vince. He didn't wait till the 11th round in our draft.
I told you wouldn't. I love the pick, Brent, and I think that's probably a good pick to send you out on. We distracted you enough to get you Garrett Cole. We did our job.
That worked out.
That's
right. We're going to bring you back on throughout the year and check in on you and get your thoughts throughout the year on how your team's doing and things you would do differently looking back on it, those kinds of things as well. And I didn't do this for Chase, and I apologize. But Brent, tell the folks about your show.
Steer off the board.
Tell everybody about your show and where they can find you at.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast, Four Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Me and Dave get at Mondays and Thursday nights, and we sprinkle in a lot of different humor and sports takes on our own little unique way up here in Alberta, Canada. But always fun talking to you guys. We'll see you guys again very soon.
Hey, thanks, Brent. Good luck this season.
Coming on.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. All right, Brent Radlinsky, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. He is a great show, great content, great dude. So glad to have him on. Let's bring on now our resident A's fan. He's also a Phillies fan, but I like to call him an A's fan because I don't know any other A's fans. So it's Nathan Nguyen, the host of the Backup to the Backup podcast. How you doing?
Glad to see you.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
We're doing good. So tell us about your picks.
Yeah. How do I explain this? I didn't do as much studying as I usually do when it comes to these fantasy drafts, and I think the first pick I got was, I forgot who that was. I'm trying to look at it right now. I think it was Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
I know last season a lot. When I watched him play, he always was putting up solid numbers fantasy wise. So I took the safe pick and got him. And it seems like my board has been a lot of Dodgers players and guys that I like to watch. Thankfully, I got Bryce Harper. He was like a necessity for me because I love him, but also he is hopefully has a bounce back year or a better year, I should say, compared to last season.
He won't miss the first 2 months, so at least you got that.
Exactly. I'm very excited to see him. I love him to death. But so far I like my picks. If we're being honest, I'm not the most knowledgeable compared to you guys, but I'm trying my best, and hopefully my picks work out. I heard Dylan Cease was a good but not great pick, but I decided to take the chance. And I know Blake Snell isn't on the team yet, but I assume he's going to be on a team by opening day. So I decided to just go ahead and take Snell before anyone else could.
I like it. Now tell the folks a little bit, because last year you had a rough year fantasy wise, but you said I tried. I promise I tried. Did you learn anything from last year?
Yeah, definitely. That I'm in for the first time in my life in a league with a lot of people who know their shit. And excuse my language, because it's just you guys are phenomenal. I'm serious. Like in leagues before that I've been in the past, it's been friends of mine, and they know their stuff. But at the same time, I felt like I was the best of the best because I knew more than they did. Then I joined this league, and then all of a sudden, these guys are like getting guys off waivers at midnight, or they're getting guys that I wanted to get, eventually, but they thought of it before me. And I was like, I really got to be on top of it. It's like a full-time job without thinking it's a full-time job. No, but definitely I have a lot to pay attention to this season for sure, whether it's the waivers or drafting the right players, focusing on injuries, maybe not drafting as many ace players. But
you're on the clock. You're on the clock.
Round 9.
Oh, I am. Okay.
Round 9 is where we are.
We don't want to happen what happened to Brent just a while ago.
Ryan Reynolds, Mitch Keller, and Joe Musgraves, the latest people off the board.
I took Mitch Keller, pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Let's see.
Yeah, that scares me, just having a Pirates guy. Pirates could be third in the division or last in the division. I think they're ceiling.
They could be, and but Mitch Keller, you got to like him, and he could put some counting stats and not get the win. So that's why I did that.
I'm gonna go with Yelich.
Nate, thanks for coming on the show. See you, man. No, I was going to take Yelich. It was where I was going next. He was my homer pick of the night. And now I don't know what I'm going to do, because I really thought no one was going to take him, at least there. Jordan Montgomery's an option here, but he doesn't have a team, and that worries me more actually than otherwise. I would like to add some pitching to my staff, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Hunter Brown
here to choose from too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hunter Brown. I think he's the safest.
I like that
safest of these guys. Chris Sale's there. Jose Barrios is there.
But Chris
Sonny
Sale
Gray
is the riskiest one of them all.
Bailey Ober goes off the board here. That's an interesting pick.
That's a little earlier than some of these other guys here that I would have done.
Yeah, that one I didn't see. Coming quite this early. But Dad's a guy that likes to reach as well. He likes to go out and get guys and, go from there.
There's Asuna. Speaking
now,
of
listen again. I mean, this dude's wasted. He told me he couldn't come on the show because he was going to be wasted. He's showing it with the way that he's drafting.
Yeah, you might want to put down the Jim Beam. All right, I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness. Hey, all power to you, man. You take who you like. That's what it comes down to.
Bogarts, I could see it because he's going to add second base.
Yeah, Bogarts is a good pick there.
Whole lot.
Yeah. There you go. Garcia goes off the board. Is this me on the clock?
It is.
Okay, now listen right here. Attention.
Okay.
This is the best pick in the draft. Round 10, pick 3. It is what some would consider a reach, but it's what I consider having a guy that you want on your team because he's going to be phenomenal. And when they look back on it, they'll go, "You got him in the 10th round. You're amazing." I'm going to go Jackson Holiday here. Massive pick above where he's ranked at. But I really feel that strongly about him and what he's going to do this year.
Well, that's because I talked about him, Vince. That's
the only reason. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as long as we, admit that right off the bat. So
I was trying to get Romuto, but then someone just took him.
Someone's
that was my catcher.
We're in a tough catcher spot right now.
No.
Right now, the catchers on the board: Keibert Ruiz, Gabriel Moreno, Cal Raleigh, Yanier Diaz, Wilson Contreras. I don't want to draft any of these guys.
Yeah, no, same here.
At this point, no.
Time is a ticking.
Yep. 15.
All right. So while Nate's getting ready to pick, I'm in a Yahoo league, and it's going on right now, and it is so weird. Like it is one of the weirdest leagues I've seen.
Who wins?
Let's go. Whatever Kevin, if Kevin likes a pick or if Vince likes a pick, I know I did something right. So
let's go. I'm on the board. So let me see.
Keibert Ruiz goes.
You know what? I can't believe I'm doing this. I really can't. But he's still sitting here. You talk about a 10th
Camilla
round.
Duvall?
And I'm going to go
Jordan
ahead,
Montgomery.
and we talked about him last
With
week.
Mace Robert.
Robert,
Yeah.
whatever
That's
his name
Robert.
is.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. He never did email us back to tell us what his last name was, so we call him what we want here. So.
Oh my goodness! All right, let me pull up real quick. I'm going to pull up Nate's team here and look. So Nate's sitting at Freddie Freeman, Luis Arias, Bryce Harper, Christian Yelich, Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Freddie
Fellow Asian.
Volta,
I gotta get him.
Blake Snell, Dylan Cease, and Jose Barrios. Nate, your team is already better. This team right that you have currently is better than the team you had last year at any point. I like it, man. That's some good drafting.
Thank you.
Bringing on the power right now.
Right. Gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta win. I gotta like not come in last place this year. As long as I don't come in last, like maybe sneak into the playoffs. I'll take it.
Ever been in one of those leagues where they have a punishment for finishing last?
I have not. No, I've been let off easy.
Never done that either.
I'm in a league that relegates. So there's two leagues: a major league and a AAA league. And if you get in the bottom three, you get relegated down, and the top three of the AAA league gets promoted up. Last year, I used that league as a trial. I did not take a pitcher until round 14. Needless to say, I got relegated in that league, so I'm in the AAAs this year. And my oldest son has actually joined that league this year, so he's going to be his first fantasy baseball league this year as well. So we might have to bring him on the show sometime once after we get things rolling and see what he thinks. Kevin, on the other hand, I want to get your thoughts, Nate, on Kevin's team. He's got Marcus Semien, Austin Riley, Michael Harris, Luis Robert, Kyle Schwarber. Pitching wise, he's got Strider, Castillo, Joe Ryan, Zach Eflin, Mitch Keller. Kevin, I'm not seeing how you're going to repeat as the regular season champ with this lineup.
I'm going to heartily disagree.
Oof.
Right now.
Yeah, you have zero versatility. You've yet to draft anyone who has multiple positions.
It's yet to come. All right.
Okay. Evan Carter off the board, by the way. Ellie De La Cruz off the board.
Right now,
I like
and I'm looking around. Okay. You want some versatility, Vince? I'll give you some versatility.
Okay,
and
let's see what we got here.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
He's a relief pitcher and a starting pitcher. Give me Cody
going
Bellinger.
To go to the cursed airways.
Cody Bellinger, here he comes.
Cody Bellinger, come on down.
He was on my queue. He was on my queue, Kevin. Gosh darn it.
Kevin saved you, man. Kevin saved you. You don't want a Cub this year. The baseball gods are not happy with Chicago.
Really?
Yeah. Craig Counsell is a bad man, and the baseball gods will not be pleased with his backstabbing of Milwaukee. So yeah, you got saved.
How do you feel about that? Because when I heard about that,
heartbroken.
Really, I mean, I don't have an opinion on it. I was just. When the news came out, I just thought that he would stay in Milwaukee, being how good he is and the team that he helped manage so well.
We thought he would go into the Mets. It made sense. The GM came from Milwaukee. We all thought he was going to the Mets. The Cubs is just a slap in the face. I mean, he grew up in Milwaukee. He played in Milwaukee. He coached in Milwaukee. You just can't go to the Cubs. And that's
he had a house in Milwaukee too, didn't he, man?
Oh yeah. I mean, born and raised there. So yeah, it's annoying, needless to say.
So yeah, at least if the fire is going to come down, shield it away from Bellinger just a bit. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Goodness, I got no idea where to go with this one. You're up right now, and I don't know where you're going to go.
I don't either. 20 seconds. Oh gosh. Man, these are on a minute. A minute goes by so fast. I might have to reach. I'm gonna go Javier. I've had him a lot in recent leagues, or in every league I've been in. It was kind of a rush pick. I got to be more aware.
Do you like him?
Go look ahead a little bit.
What's because before all this began, I was pretty big on Sonny Gray, but this injury that he has really concerns me. So I want nothing to do with it. Yeah,
age, injury. The Cardinals were horrible last year. And I love Sonny Gray. He grew up same town as me. I go back a long way with Sonny Gray, and I don't know that, especially here, I can't take him. But we talk about versatility, Kevin, and I've been high on Reds players this year as well.
Players, Matt McClain, not so much the team.
Yeah. Matt McClain. Actually, I'm coming around on that too, Kev. We'll talk about that another day. But
okay, I look forward to that conversation.
Yeah. So, anyways, I go Matt McClain here. Had a great year last year. Possibly rookie of the year if it wasn't for somebody else named Corbin Carroll. I like him. He gives me versatility as well on my roster. Granted, I had your roster pulled up when I picked that, but it'll still work. It'll still fill in a spot for me there as a middle infielder. Bryson Stott goes. Shane Bieber goes.
So you can pull up my my roster if it inspires you. Vince, you go ahead and do that.
Inspires me to do better, Kevin.
Who took Bryson Stott?
He went to the guy who's drunk.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I like this. I like it a lot. I thought maybe he'd go a little bit later, but for the first baseman that went earlier, Costas can be just as good as any of them. So I like the value a lot.
It's good. I'm going to take a first baseman who will be a top 3 fantasy first baseman this year. I'm going to get him here in round 12. If he stays healthy, of course, that's the caveat to everything. But I'm going to go Vinny Pasquantino, Kansas City. I love what Kansas City has.
Second year in a row for you, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
At least I don't remember if it's this league or another one. I've had him. I've had him somewhere last year for sure. And I just saw somebody else that I probably should have taken over Pasquantino. So I'm gonna have to hold on tight and see if he's around next time through, because I'm gonna kick myself if he's not. But anyways, I'll talk about that once he gets drafted, because I don't want to give it away.
Give it away, Vince. Come on, give it away.
So, anyways, that being said, all right. So, Nate, big year for you. It's a bounce back year. You're looking to, you're kind of transitioning from Oakland to Vegas in fantasy baseball, and trying to upgrade and get out of the cellar and get back to relevancy and everything as well. But Nate, tell everybody about your show, where they can find it, when they can find it, those kind of things.
Yes, sir. So my podcast, Back to the Backup, you can find on YouTube and Spotify and whatnot. We try to record every Tuesday. It's been a bit rough recently, schedule wise, because football is pretty much kind of laying low a little bit. Even though the free agency news is picking up, we've been laying low with baseball start up, I should say. So every Tuesday you can find us around 10 a.m. Pacific time, so 1 p.m. in the East Coast, and we'll try to get videos out regardless every week. Or every day of each week. So we're working on it. And that's where you can find us. Thank you so much for having me on, guys. I appreciate you both, and best of luck, even though you guys don't need it. Best of luck to you both in this league this year.
I'm telling you, your roster's blowing his out of the water right now. I like to give Kevin a hard time. Nathan, we will bring you back on throughout the year, check in with you, and follow your growth in fantasy baseball as you make that step forward this year. But make sure you check out his show, Back Up to the Backup, as well. And by the way, Nathan is a huge help to me. Kevin does his own editing and posting, but most of my articles that I put out, Nathan's the one that goes through and proofs them and gets them out.
Which you put one out, what was it, yesterday or is it today, Vin?
It went out this morning.
Okay.
About the Brewers. Can the Brewers contend?
You convinced me. They will contend.
You turn me around as well. So
there we go.
If I had a hat, I would take it off right now.
All right, Nathan. Thanks, man. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on.
That's right.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, Nathan Nguyen. There from the Backup to the Backup. And hey, that's what we're going to do real quick. We're still in the middle of the draft. Things are rolling. Let's take a quick break, though. I'm going to run a commercial for our sponsor, Righteous Felon. When we come back, we'll pick up in the 13th round of the Fantasy Draft Live. Say hello to America's most wanted craft beef jerky. Over 15 flavors with all kinds of character. The #1 jerky gift box and all natural Black Angus quality made right here in the US of A. Taste the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15 at checkout. That's righteousfelon.com. Promo code STOVE15 at checkout. Welcome back into the Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball Show. We are drafting live. We're in round 13, pick number 3 of the 13th round. Most recent picks, Alexis Diaz. Let's see here. Cal Raleigh, Nick Castellanos.
What are we doing?
Marcus Stroman, the
What are
Yankee.
we doing?
He's a Yankee. You got to draft some Yankees on there. Hey, Kevin, I want to give you an update real quick on my Yahoo League. Live
Okay.
drafting right now. We are in round 9. I got
Okay.
William Contreras, Milwaukee.
Okay.
Pete Alonso. Mookie Betts was my first pick at number 3. Manny Machado, Matt McClain, Christian Yelich, Zach Wheeler, Logan Gilbert, and Cole Reagans is my current setup over there. And I've almost missed a couple picks. so likely, I think I've cut them all. So
I can't believe I did what I just did.
Isaac Paredes, not a bad pick. Is he first base eligible or no?
He is first and third.
That's what I thought. It's showing up as third base there, but I think it's just up on the top. So, yeah, Ian Happ went before
Talk about
him.
Tampa Bay, but
is that your second Ray on the team?
Well, I got 2. One's a pitcher though.
Okay.
And
okay, yeah.
So he's first, he's third, and so I like that versatility. And Bellinger's first and outfield. So you're talking about versatility, and Schwarber's outfield DH, and that's something we need to mention because DH, in baseball, you can throw anybody as a DH, but in ESPN, they have to actually be qualified as a DH to put them in that slot. So
Yeah,
just
and
know
there's
that.
Bunch of guys who are eligible.
Yeah, there are, but just know that if you want to put an outfielder in that spot, you cannot do that. You have to have DH on there somewhere.
All right, so Nate is picking now. I've got a guy I really want.
Okay.
And he is still there. All right, so I think this is the right place to do this. Round 13, pick 8. Jordan Montgomery still sitting there.
Okay.
If and when he gets signed, he's going to be better than any of the people that are currently sitting on our draft board. I don't know where he's going, and I don't know when he's signing. But at this point, I've got Burns, Gallen, Bassett, and Brown. If I can add Montgomery and he's anything like he was last year, I feel like that's a really stacked pitching group. So I'm going to go Jordan Montgomery here. And this is I think it's the place. I think it's the place where I feel comfortable with Cole.
Okay. I agree.
Montgomery, all those things.
I agree that there's not a lot of downside here because he's going to pitch.
Yeah.
At some point. And
now that's not the guy I was telling you that I wanted. I still have another guy that I want. He's in my queue.
Okay.
And but I didn't feel like I could pass on Montgomery. I felt like the value was too good there compared to everybody else that's there. So now I wait. Now I wait. We will see. We will see where it all runs out to. But so again, we're talking about best value, but at this point, it really comes down to who you believe in, right? I mean, it's
that's
not
right.
just.
And there's not a lot of guys here that I believe in, really, because I liked Garrett, but he's out. I like Gray, he's out. I like Marino, but he's hurt. And we got a bunch of relief pitchers. As you know, I'm not big on relief pitchers.
I just can't do it. So, I can't draft them here.
No. And Jansen's sitting right over here. I don't believe in him. I don't like Kimbrel. So, and Bueller's sitting here coming up, and he's out. Yeah. He's way too early for me to take a chance on that.
Right.
So, you have to reach. Right about now is when you start reaching for players. Maybe you got openings and you reach a little bit. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Go find the guys that you like, the guys you believe in, and dadgummit, Yanir Diaz. That's who I was going to take. The catcher from Houston.
Looking at that too. And so that's a little earlier for catcher than I wanted to do.
But the question is what catcher do you believe in? And he's the one I believed in out of all the guys that are left. I don't even know where to go right now. This is ridiculous.
Well, somebody took Sonny Gray, so you don't have to worry about him now.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Not that I was worried in the first place, but
oh my goodness. I don't even know what to do, Kev. 30 seconds? Are you kidding me?
That's when you start scrolling up a little bit and
I'm scrolling way down right now to find somebody I like. I'll take Bryce Miller. I like him out of the pitchers compared to some of these other guys. My soul.
I don't blame you for that. What's your since you picked, what's your opinion on Pavetta?
I'm not a Pavetta fan. That being said, he has scored well.
I
He's
like to
projected to
be, I
score
want to
well.
be a Pavetta fan, but there's just something about him.
His ADP is 145. So I mean, you're getting him here and pick round 14. This is his projected spot. Let's see what's going on in this other league. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, there's just a lot of question marks out there right now. And the guys that are sitting here, I don't have a catcher, and Diaz is the last catcher that I believed in. And now I'm stuck. I'm going to have to take a catcher at some point. But for me, I'm almost thinking I need to look through these guys, I guess, before I say this. But,
Right.
man, I just don't like the catchers that are sitting there right now. My goodness.
Chances on Pavetta just went off the board. Speaking of him,
Pavetta's gone.
Nathan just did that. So he's still listening to us. So
Yeah, I ended up picking a reliever in my other league because I wasn't paying attention.
uh-oh.
So first reliever taken for me today. I need to turn this volume up so I can hear when it's my turn to pick. Okay. We'll see is up. Evan Phillips,
Okay.
another relief pitcher off the board.
Okay. See, now, right now, if Garrett was healthy, that's what I'd be going to, but he is not, so I'm not going to do that. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go and get me some CJ Abrams.
All right. Shortstop from Washington. One of the guys we talked about recently.
Yep. And,
Washington,
when I did my shortstop
expected.
tiers, I forgot to put him in there, and I was taken back of the woodshed in a very vicious way. And I went and I looked. I'm like, oh, crap, I did forget him. And apologies all around. He deserves to be in this tier, and there he goes. So people, please, be gentle. So
Torkelson off the board.
okay, I like that.
Yeah, we get to this point in the draft. I'm telling you, I hate. So let's see. Right now in ESPN, where we're sitting at 14th round, into the 14th round, the guys that are on the queue: David Bednar, relief pitcher, Pittsburgh; Andres Munoz, relief pitcher, Seattle; Clay Holmes, relief pitcher, New York Yankees; Braxton Garrett, starting pitcher, Miami; Pete Fairbanks, relief pitcher, Tampa. There's a bunch of relief pitchers right now. Gabriel Marino, catcher, Walker Buehler, pitcher, Saya Suzuki is all here. There's guys here, but I'm telling you, I just don't like what is sitting here right now. I'm scrolling down and looking to reach for some guys that I just like a whole lot better.
If I had to take a relief pitcher, probably would be Seawald. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
He's down a little ways.
He's at 116.
Okay. Yeah. From Arizona. Yeah, he's the guy out of these groups. Fairbanks, because we have holds, Fairbanks is a consideration here. I don't like what Tampa has done with their pitching staff.
Right. I've got enough Tampas on my team. I'm not doing any more of them. So.
Yeah. So that scares me a whole lot. But man, I mean, I'm a few picks away here, and I've got you before me, so I have to be a little careful what I say. Byron Buxton goes off. All right, so let's talk about Buxton. DH only this year.
Well, you can have
has lots of injury issues, but he's the kind of guy that if he has this season where all of a sudden he's there for 120 games, he's actually
But he's not been there for 120
No,
games.
he's not. He is not. I agree.
You know what? I don't believe I'm doing this again, but I just talked about Seawald. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have I usually have one relief pitcher on my team. And so I am going to do that right now.
Alec Baum went before him.
Oh, it just kicked me out, Vince. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Hopefully he was at the top of your list. You got 10 seconds.
So
oh no. You're going to end up with David Bednar from Pittsburgh.
It's
One.
it,
Ding, ding,
it-
ding, ding, ding.
can we hold the draft?
David
I'm
Bednar
out.
goes
It's
off.
not letting me in, Vince.
I cannot on my iPad hold the draft.
You gotta
We're
be
gonna
kidding me here.
We're gonna stall as long as we can. You've got a little bit to go before your next pick. Chase is on right now. He goes Jake Cronenworth, first base, San Diego. And technology is great when it works, and not so much when it doesn't. The draft
I'm back
continues
in.
to roll. You back in?
Yeah, and it gave me Bednar.
Yeah.
The guy I wanted nothing to do with.
So you have Mitch Keller, who you
Go
love in
throw a
Pittsburgh.
bullpen session Friday. Well, great. Thanks a lot, ESPN. I appreciate it.
How can you be so high though on Keller and so low on Bednar?
Well, at least with Keller, you know he's going to pitch when he's going to pitch. And the problem with Bednar is Pittsburgh has to be up in the ninth inning for him to come in. And how many times is that going to be the case when it comes to him? And then when you use a relief pitcher that, let's say they're down 8-3 and they want to give him an inning, that's when relief pitchers get blowed up.
Yeah, but what about he gets traded? He gets traded, and then you're actually sitting there with the spot where he ends up being a great player for your team, and you're sitting there at a pretty spot when it's all said and done. Of course, he probably won't make it that far on your team. You'll get rid of him before that, but nonetheless,
You know what?
listen.
I was gonna go Seawald right there.
Jung-Hoo Lee, by the way, great pick by Dad, a San Francisco guy.
Okay.
I do like that pick.
Okay.
There for him.
Good. I like that.
Where's your strength at right now on your team, Kevin? The guys
When
that
I'm
you
looking
drafted.
at this, my strength is in my starting pitching.
Okay.
I got Strider, Castillo, Bryan, Eflin, Keller, and my outfield could be because I got Harris, Robert, or Robert, whatever the heck it is, and Anthony Santana. I got him a little bit later, so I like that. See, come on, stop! It's kicking me out again. All right, I'm back. Bellinger could be good. Simeon's good. I got Riley. I like that a lot. And Schwarber, we talked about, have to have DH. He's outfield DH, so I'm feeling pretty good about that.
So I've got to fill outfield spots. I've not drafted but one outfielder. Well, Aaron Judge is there also. Lourdes Gurriel's the next guy on the list. I've already got a couple Arizona guys, so I don't want to do that. Then you got Mullins, Soler, and Lane Thomas are really the guys that I'm looking at this point. There are other guys available, but those are the guys kind of. I know you're really low on Cedric Mullins this year. Why are you low on Cedric Mullins?
Well, it's not because I was looking. He's not having a good spring. He didn't have a great season last year. And so I wanted to be higher on him. But when I was looking at it, and he's sitting there. So I'm not feeling it on him. It's it's just one of those things where you're not feeling it.
Not feeling it.
Not feeling it. But you're looking over this. There are not a lot of players I like. Seriously. So
the guys that I like are so much lower, and I just can't go that low to go get them at this point.
Right.
And I don't even want to tell you who they are because then someone's going to go grab them. But the guys like, I really don't want to say him because I want to get him later. So there's guys down there that they're in the 200s, and it's like, well, okay, but we're in round 16, so I can't go down that low just yet to go get those guys, in my opinion. And then we look at the pitchers that are available. Like you said, there's relief pitchers galore right now. And I'm the guy that's
Right.
going to wait on relief pitchers and then find a guy that's getting saves once we get going. Gurriel goes off the board now. You can have Seawald if you want him. He's still there, Kevin.
No, I've got my relief pitcher.
You're going to stick with
So
him.
you know what?
Have some
You know
faith.
what? I just talked about him, saying I'm not feeling it. But these picks right here, I'm not feeling any of them either. So I'm going to go ahead and go Cedric Mullins.
Okay. I like Cedric Mullins. Jorge Soler gave me the DH option also, so that's why I chose him over Mullins. But I like Mullins. I think Mullins has the potential to be really good and really helpful, I think, for your team.
Now I
So
got two outfielders from Baltimore. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because I got Mullins and I got Santana, or however you pronounce his name.
Santander, yeah.
Yeah. But if you're going to have players, Baltimore's not a bad place to go.
Yeah, Baltimore. I mean, it's hard to find a guy on Baltimore who's not fantasy relevant. I mean, they are stacked fantasy wise. They're a team you can go to and I think really do some damage with, in my opinion, at the very least. We're in here. Walker Buehler goes off the board here, round 16. I think it's a great spot for him. Because again, if he comes back healthy, though, that's tremendous value. Trace Thompson from the Mets goes. Was he on your draft board, Kevin?
He was not. Neither was McMahon.
Ryan McMahon. Well, Rocky, going to a Rocky fan. That makes sense. Rodon goes. Josh Bell goes.
No, you can have him.
Mike. This is intriguing right now. Justin Lawrence, relief pitcher, Colorado goes. I love having Rockies fans in our league, Kevin. This has been the best thing we've done, maybe ever. This is fun. This is fun stuff. And this is why you want a league that has some variety in it, to be able to have some unknowns. Yusniel Diaz goes. Interesting pick. Jose Alvarado. Are we in like? Are we?
We're in no man's
still
land.
awake? Are we still doing this? What's happening here?
You can't. I know I said this before, but I'm going Yu Darvish here.
He was on my list of guys to pick. I like the pick there. I think that's great value, by the way.
I don't understand how Dylan Cease went off the board so much earlier, but Yu Darvish is their opening day starter. So someone can please explain that. I don't get it. So the value for Yu Darvish is way higher than Cease.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I'm just talking about the value. I'm not
Joe Musgrove and Cease I like better than Darvish. But Darvish is going to get the opportunities again. And
right. I'm just talking about the value in the 17th round.
Yeah.
All kinds of value to be found here.
All right. So Sean Murphy's a great pick. I love that pick. I considered waiting on him.
I thought about doing that.
All right. So I'm going to get the guy that I really, really want, and I'm afraid someone else will reach for him too. He's way down the list, but he's an angel. Luis Rengifo. You talk about versatility. He plays everywhere. So I like having that option for him, and he's going to bat top of the order as well. No words from Kevin Wilson.
When was it we talked? First base, and he came up. He's everywhere. And I like that. I would have thought he would have went significantly later, but
probably so. Well, like I said, my next several picks are going to be. You're going to be going. Well, probably could have waited on him. But that's the way I draft. I get to this point in the draft now, and it's like, all right, we're at that turnover part of our roster, the part of the roster that's going to get turned over. once we get into the waiver wire stuff. So to me, this is where you start taking a swing on guys. This is where you start going out and grabbing some guys. Brian Bello.
That's right. And I agree with that, especially when you look at what's here. Garrett, I like him, but he's out. Fairbanks, I'm not doing that. Scott from Miami, not doing that. Helsley from St. Louis, not doing it. Alzolay, not doing it. Jansen, certainly not doing it. Kimbrell, not doing it. A bunch of relief pitchers.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna make my money on holds. I'm gonna pick guys up on the waiver wire. They're gonna get me holds. I'm gonna pass on saves, and I'm just gonna work that route in relief pitching. Because
Lane Thomas pick I like a lot.
Lane Thomas is a great pick. He's a guy that could have went up when you got Mullins.
I didn't have,
and when I got Soler.
Went and got Abrams already.
You don't have 2 Washington guys on your team?
No, that's
O'Neal Cruz.
Curses from on high. That's you're bucking the odds there. So
O'Neal Cruz, great pick there as well.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I do too. All right, so I'm down to, again, just because I'm a homer, I didn't get Yelich, so I got to take Churio. I don't know when Chase is going to take him. I don't know what else everybody's thinking. I'm going to go ahead and snag him because I want him on my team. Again, it's another reach. I got several reaches on my team right now.
Okay.
But I really like what he's going to give me this year. And I don't have to worry about trying to go get another Brewer, Sal Frelick, who will be less of a fantasy guy, I think, than Churio once he gets rolling. So, yeah. Anyways, that's why I went there.
Okay.
Brian Hayes goes off.
If you remember, I talked about him last week.
Yeah,
as being a guy that I like as a value, so I like that.
He goes higher than he should. I'm not telling anybody else they should take him in the 18th round, but I really wanted Yelich, and that one got away from me, and that bums me out. So I have to balance the age of Aaron Judge with Jackson Churio, and hope it works out for me. Carlos Correa, again, value pick. I like that value right now for Carlos Correa at 18. I like O'Neal Cruz better than Correa.
I do too.
But I like the pick. I think it's a good one.
But you know what? I was just reading about him, and he's going to be back in the lineup, and I need a catcher. So I am going to go and get Gabriel Moreno from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Great value.
In the 18th round, you can't go wrong.
Great value. For sure. Oh, I'm on the board on my other one. Oh no. Let's see here.
William Adames comes off the board.
I like Willie. I chose to pass on him this year, but I do like him
as well because I talked about it last week, or whenever it was I did that.
Oh man, this 2 drafts at one time thing is that's
I've
rough.
never attempted to do that. So,
it's I don't suggest it for many people.
No, I like my brain neuron to work. So I think that's you're asking for trouble doing that. So
all right, Braxton Garrett goes, Pete Fairbanks goes, Tanner Scott goes. Let's see here. Oh man, the guy I had queued up got taken. Okay, let's see here. Oh, all right. I think I got a guy I want. I don't know that he's going to make it back around to me here in this league. But everybody's just searching to fill spots, it looks like right now. Everybody's going around saying, what do I need?
This is the time to start doing that. Michael King, I like that. I like it a lot.
And Brent would know Michael King. I mean, from being a Yankees fan. He gets traded to San Diego. Verlander goes next. Talk to me about Verlander. I know you're picking, but
yeah, he's one of the guys that I would like to take him a little bit later if I was, and because I don't like what I'm hearing about him. So
yeah, it's not positive, is it?
No, it is not. And he just took Verlander, and look who I'm getting ready to take. And that's Nathan Eovaldi, who is at this time the ace of the Texas Ranger staff. and pitch extraordinarily well in the playoffs. So there's a whole lot more upside to like there than the guy that just came off the board to me than Justin Verlander. If he was going, let me a couple picks later, stash him maybe, but I'm not feeling it in the 18th round.
Verlander scares me for sure. Again,
He
he's
does.
he's either you're
He's
either going to hit
41
on him.
top of it all.
Yeah, but it's either he's going to be really good or, and again, it's the 19th round, so it's not like you don't miss severely in the 19th round. If you miss on somebody, it is what it is, and okay, whatever. But but interesting still,
right?
As far as
because at some point, the cliff is coming fast for him.
Yeah,
and because he's not Nolan Ryan and pitched till he's 46 years old. And a lot of times when they step off the cliff, it's a deep one. And I don't want that to happen when he's on my team. That's all I'll say about that. So.
Oh man, I got guys that I want. I want Rhys Hoskins, but I already got 2 first basemen and only first basemen, so that's all they're eligible for.
That's an issue. Yeah.
That's a tough spot to be in, especially when I got young guys like Jackson Churio and Holiday on my team that,
they both have to
might be filling a bench spot for me.
Right.
All right. So here we go. The pick that I been hoping to get. I told you he was going to be on my team. You mocked me then. You're going to mock me now. I love Dalton Varsho for a bounce back year here for the Blue Jays. I really think that he's got that bounce back. And again, in round 19, I like Varsho here.
Okay. That's great for you. He took a lot of people down with him last year. A lot. Him and Melendez.
Yeah.
And at least now going in that you're not goofing around with catcher or whatever else because he doesn't have it. And if he's going to be in a lineup that can make a big difference, Toronto was it.
Yeah.
And so I guess I wouldn't hate this much, as much if it had happened earlier. But I would hope that he'd come around again, maybe an early round later, to really bring some value to him.
Oh man. All right. So I got some guys in my queue that I got to figure out when do I want to get them, because I want to talk about them because I love them to death. And I want them on my team. And now it's just way too early to go after these guys.
There's your buddy John Gray just went off the board. I know how much you love him.
And it's the guy who's wasted that picked him. I'm telling you, it's all playing out. Max Kepler goes, John Gray goes, the guy who drank too much on St. Patty's Day to be on our show. Amanga go. Amana, how do you say that name? Amon. I always forget how to say it.
I'm not even sure. And because he's he came out of Japan as well as Yamamoto, but not nearly the fanfare.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting how he does. He'll have a little limelight
by the way,
to deal with in
I'm
Chicago.
taking Rhys Hoskins because I want him. So I'm taking him.
Okay. As long as he's healthy. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see it.
He's had a whole year to do nothing, so he should be healthy.
Right.
In my opinion, at the very least.
Brent Rooker.
Yeah. You remember Brent Rooker from last year? Great year in Oakland.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, I played a little footsie with him last year.
Yeah, he got passed around the league last year. He was a good value. I like Zach Geloff there in Oakland probably more than Rooker
too.
For this year.
We talked about him, and but just being in Oakland, that's a problem.
Yeah,
I
was listening to oh come on, Buster Olney the other day, and they were talking about the Oakland A's and the fact that they're going to surprise some people this year. Again, they're not going to be playoff team or anything like that, but they're just going to be better than most people expect that they're going to be. And I'm kind of in
You
on
know
that.
what?
I think I agree with
took
him.
a catcher just a minute ago, and I said I don't want 2 catchers on my team, but the value right
it.
here is
Do it.
such that
Jonah
I can't
Heim?
overlook it, and that's Francisco Alvarez.
Oh my
Come on
goodness.
down.
Yeah. Yeah. I
In the
agree. Now,
20th round, and if Gabriel's not healthy enough to start the season, I got 2. I got a backup to that. And I think
yeah.
that he could be the top catcher. He could be the top catcher, period.
Well, that's what I was trying
And
to figure out. I don't remember who else they have this year. I think they signed another guy. I'd have to look it up. I don't have it in front of me right now.
seeing as how our league's got what, 36 guys or whatever the number is here. Having 2 catchers isn't quite what it is on some of these other leagues that have 20 guys or whatever it is.
Oh, they brought in Omar Narvaez is who they brought in. He won't
Okay.
take very many.
No.
He'll do it
So-
every 3 games or so. He'll be in.
Alvarez is a guy that could hit 30 home runs this year. So
Yes.
in the 20th round, I like this value, even though because Gabriel Marino, I like when I got him in the 18th round. So
Yeah.
there's value at catcher on my team, even though I got 2, and I don't usually do that. There's Jansen off the board going to a Yankee fan.
Hey, if you're playing fantasy correctly,
Well,
it
that's
doesn't
true.
matter.
That's true, and I agree with that 100, as much as anybody.
Yep.
But Jansen is not on the Dodgers anymore, so that's the problem with that right there. All right, Elizabeth's back on the clock.
We'll see which
What Rocky she goes with?
Rocky she goes with this time. Oh man, I got another pick to make here, and I don't know where to go with it. Come on, help me out here. And we'll go here for now. Man, this Yahoo League is going to be bonkers. Thankfully, that draft is done. But Matt Strom, another relief pitcher. I don't know if there's going to be any holds for me to pick up. My goodness. We've had so many relief pitchers go.
So what's because I see him here. What do you think about Kota Senga?
I think it's good. I mean, I think this is the time that you like to pick them. Riley Green goes, Thairo Estrada goes. I like both of those picks too. Yeah, I mean, this is the time. This is when you take a swing on those guys, I think. What's his injury situation? Do you know?
That's why I was just pulling that up.
It will not begin a throwing program for another 7 to 10 days.
Okay, and
I don't like Cody Senga anymore.
more imaging. If it's talking about more imaging, then no.
Yeah, that's a scary situation. Garrett
If he
Whitlock
was delayed
goes, another
7 to 10
Ryan
days,
Presley
then,
goes.
Yeah, and he was.
That's a great pick, by the way, Brent. Ryan Presley, he's
Josh
going to get a
John?
lot of holds this
Hey,
year
like
in
that.
Houston. So I like the Ryan Presley pick, especially here and in our league. I think there's a lot of value to that.
Wow, there's not a lot to like here as far as. Oh, you know what? I take that back because I'm gonna go Kenta Maeda, if that's how you pronounce his name.
Maeda, yeah.
Maeda, okay.
Yeah, he was going to be my next pick. So thanks for that, Kevin.
You know what? I'm here to spread, joy throughout the land. So now I've got 2 Minnesota pitchers. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's okay. All right, so I'm going to start reaching here now. I've got 3 guys on my list, and I can afford to get all 3 of them. It puts me in a little bit of hurt on pitching. Let's see here. Which one do I want to go with first? I like having 2 catchers on my team. I got Wilson Contreras. He's also can DH if necessary.
Okay.
But Jonah Heim's been sitting here for a while.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and take him, and I think that's a quality second catcher. That way, if Wilson Contreras does not bounce back, I got options there. And then my next 2 guys are guys that I really wanted on my team, and I'm probably only going to get one of them. And then after I draft the one that I draft, I'll tell you which one, who the other one is, and somebody else can draft them if they want to. But I need to wait and make sure this other guy doesn't go before I tell you all about him. Jordan Walker's an interesting one. He's the St. Louis kid. He was a rookie last year. Started off, everybody thought he was going to be great. He was not. Kyle Gibson. We just had a run on St. Louis players, by the way. Jordan Walker, Kyle Gibson, and Ryan Helsley all went right there, guys, for St. Louis. I don't think St. Louis is a strong fantasy team this year, Kevin. There's not a lot. I mean, Arenado and Goldschmidt, fine. Everybody else, I'm not sure that you're going to get what you need there as well. All right, so here's my pick.
They can't be as awful. That's
what
all
we think.
you can say about that. Doesn't mean anything, but they can't be as awful.
All right, so my last position player that I'm going to draft, he's got second base and third base eligibility. He's young, and he's a guy that has potential, but he's not being drafted, so I shouldn't have to take him here. But again, I don't want to miss out on him. We do have a Tigers fan in our league, so I'm going to go ahead and draft Colt Keith because I don't like any of the pitchers that are sitting here either. Colt Keith is the guy I'm going to take. The other guy I was looking at was Miguel Garcia from Kansas City, projected to bat leadoff, third base only. And I like what he can do. If I didn't have who I already had on my team, Miguel Garcia would be the guy that I go get. But Colt Keith to me gives me more upside and a little bit of versatility along with it.
Okay, I like that. And because we're getting to the point now where you have to sit there. I talked about how I don't like Hernandez for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? And when you got Meneses from Washington looking at you in the face, that's not a good thing.
It could be.
It could be.
You got to have a little faith,
but
man.
DH, I don't like players that are just DH. I'm on the clock right now. So
Sal Frelick goes, by the way. That's Chase. He's a Brewers fan, so it makes sense. I like Sal Frelick. He's probably going to get third base eligibility this season as well. So I like that. I like that pick.
So if your dad was here, I'd ask him about Kyle Harrison.
Okay.
It looks like it looks good. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Kyle Harrison. I'm writing that down. Pitcher, SF Giants. You have to hold your nose anytime you're picking a Giant. So.
Oh my goodness.
So we're coming down to the last 4 rounds of this draft, and so
Adbert Alzolay goes.
Okay. I was just looking at that, but it says that he doesn't have a defined role. And I don't like relief pitchers that don't have defined roles.
Yeah.
So I didn't consider that any further. What about Griffith Caning, the Los Angeles Angels?
Yeah, no, that's not the Angels guy that I want, in my opinion. I
remember when I first wrote about him, I wrote about Griffith Caning.
Oh, instead of Griffin.
Yeah. And so that's where I learned way early on to pay attention. So
right now, I know we're not giving great content out right now, but this is such a hard spot in the draft.
It is. That's where you just gotta, I'll float some guys out here just because, and I know you talked about Candelario not liking him with Cincinnati, but do you like him better now with the announcement that what's his name is out for 80 games because he did PEDs?
Honestly, I don't like him any better. They still got other guys that are there. I'm not a fan still. At this point in the draft, I don't have a problem with it. It's just not a guy that I'm looking at. There's another Reds player that I like better, Encarnacion Strand. He's first base DH. I like him a lot better than Candelario.
Okay, so I would have taken Edman, but he's going to be on the DL, or IL, or whatever L it is now. And so I need a shortstop, second baseman. I can't believe I'm doing this either. I'm going to go ahead and I'm taking Anthony Volpe of the New York Yankees.
Nice. Volpe. By the way, Brent drafted Yanir Cano, Baltimore, another guy that's going to get a ton of holds this year. In our league, that counts as a lot. So he is really starting to rack up these relief pitchers that actually make sense, in my opinion. And the value in which he's getting them at is good too. He's got Yanir Cano, he's got Ryan Presley. Both of those guys are going to be holds guys, probably more than saves guys. Kenley Jansen in Boston, I'm not sure about that one, but everybody else, he's got a Josh Hader he took early, so he's got a strong relief setting going on. But he's got Gossman, Cole, Lopez, Morton, and Stroman and King as his starters as well. So an interesting roster to say the least. Chris Bryant
right,
from Colorado goes.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
He was moved off a shortstop, but it looks like he's going to play second base. What about Gavin Lux of the Dodgers?
Man, his spring has been so bad.
His throwing has been bad. What about his bat?
Late. I mean, again, we're late in the draft, so I don't have a problem with taking a swing at him. But to me, he's not back to where he needs to be yet. And I'm not sure. It would worry me. I don't have a lot of hope that he's going to be that great. But again, you're picking really late in this draft right now. I'm taking Yasai Kikuchi here from Toronto. I'm sitting right now. My pitching looks like Burns, Gallen, Bassett, Brown, Hunter Brown, Jordan Montgomery, Bryce Miller, Yasai Kikuchi. No relief pitchers, and I'm not going to draft a relief pitcher. So, of course, I say that. I should probably go look at relief pitchers, before I say that too much. But I can't imagine there's somebody there that I love as a relief pitcher right now.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hector Neris, no. Pyomps, no. No, there's nobody here that makes any sense for me in the you got the Rogers twins in San Francisco that can give you some holds. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna have to wait it out and see what happens. So we talked about this in one of our last shows there. Now's the time I start looking at guys who are not going to start the season that I'm going to stash on my IL because I'm going to have to pick up relief pitchers here at some point as well. So the question is which direction do you go with these guys?
Well, you got to look at your roster and find out if you have any holes. If you do not, then go ahead and target away the players that you're talking about right now. And I'm looking at, there's a particular position that I am weak on, so I cannot do that just yet. And see, and there he is right there.
Zach Geloff.
I was thinking about doing that because second base is not good on my team. They only got one. And
all right, so let me help you out here.
Okay.
All right. Second base, India's a no, pass on him. Merrifield's a no, pass on him. Edmonds a no, pass on him. Dubon,
Polanco,
no.
what do you think?
He's not going to play enough. Who?
Polanco.
Oh, I love Polanco. Yeah, I love Polanco.
Okay, there he is.
Yeah, I like that
I
one.
didn't get Geloff or however. I'm going Polanco right there.
Yeah, I like that one.
Because he's a guy that we talked about on the show as well. I would have liked it if he had like second base, maybe third base or first base or something like that, but he does not. So you just have to go with it. Okay, so now we're getting to the point where you're talking about who's got the upside.
It ain't pretty, I'll tell you that much.
And right at the top, Leclerc. I'm not big on him. Any of these relief pitchers. Somebody wants to go ahead and take Hernandez, you go ahead and do that.
Oh my goodness, it is so ugly right now.
There's your buddy Melendez.
MJ Melendez. Yeah, take him. That's a good pick. Another Colorado Rocky off the board. Love to see that. Leclerc gone. Kyle Bradish gone. He's hurt too, isn't he? I believe. Kyle Bradish.
I believe so. There's Whit Merrifield.
Whit Merrifield.
You talk about a guy. You talk about the cliff that comes quickly. It comes quickly for him.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to do next, Kevin. I'm at this point now where it's like,
Well, this one guy I just talked about might have to do it. There's Von Grissom sitting there. Are you going to buy into him?
I'm not.
I'm not either. It's got a big O next to his name, even though we're ticking, this point in the draft.
Oh man, it's moving too fast for me.
Gee, I could take Carlos Estevez, a pitcher I've never even heard of.
There you go. Take
So
a
I'm
chance.
not doing that. Okay, not doing it. But a guy I just talked about, but I messed up his name, Griffith Canaan. I am going to do that.
Okay, interesting pick.
I like that as a later addition to the pitching staff.
All right, so I'm
we're
looking
down to
at
the last round. Can you believe this right now?
we still got two. We're still got 2 picks left. Well, not you, but
Yeah,
everybody else. Yeah.
everybody else in the world's got 2, but I got 1 left.
All right.
All right. So how far are you reaching down?
I'm reaching down. Well, I got 2 pitchers I'm looking at in the 200s.
Okay. Abbott.
No, I'm looking at Clark Schmidt and Mackenzie Gore are the 2 guys that I'm looking at right now. Gore being in Washington, I really like him. Schmidt is one of those guys that needs to perform better. The Yankees are going to definitely lean on him. He's got a new pitch this year as well. Oh boy.
There's Nestor Cortez.
I just like
opening
Yankees.
day starter.
I like Yankees better than the Nationals. I'm going to go Clark Schmidt. Give him a shot. And then I got to figure out for my last pick if I'm going to go with another pitcher, a batter. Wander Franco's still available. I'm kidding. I'm not
Imagine that.
Franco. Yeah.
Imagine that. There's our buddy DJ LeMahieu, which you can have.
Jordan Westberg. I like taking a shot on him, by the way.
Some of these guys are making these decisions awfully fast, I'd say.
I think they're auto picking there, Kev.
Andrew Benintendi, 3 years ago. Okay.
All right. Now, I told you there's another guy I told you that's going to be on my team.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, man. Miguel Garcia is still sitting there, too. I really think he's going to have a good year. Let me look at my roster real quick here. So, at third base right now, I've got Machado, who's DH eligible. I don't have another third. Do I not have another third baseman? Rengifo. You know what? Forget it. I'm just going to do this. Originally, I was thinking that I was going to go and get MJ Melendez because I kind of beat the horn for him. But I'm going to go Miguel Garcia in Kansas City, third baseman. I think he's going to have a big year this year as well. So while you're preparing, I want to look through some of these rosters here.
Okay, there goes
Nestor Cortez.
Nate's listening to us still. So,
all right.
I'd like to think that Nate came up with that on his own, but I think we helped him with that.
That's what we're here to do, Kev.
That's right. That's what it is, and
that's why they pay us the big bucks. All right. Mike Brown was the first overall pick. He did go Ronald Acuna. His team looks like Cal Raleigh, Pete Alonso, Jose Altuve, Max Muncy, Thairo Estrada, Ketel Marte, Josh Bell, Acuna, Springer, Suzuki, Riley Green, Goldschmidt, TJ Friedel. His pitching is Valdez, Nola, Diaz, who's injured, Iglesias, Sale, Alexis Diaz, Carlos Rodon, Braxton Garrett, Pete Fairbanks, Alex Lang.
I went Justin Turner, my last pick.
Well, that's an intriguing pick. He gives you first base. Is he eligible? What is he? DH first base?
First base, DH. Hitting in that lineup. He's still got life.
Joey Meneses goes. here. We got 3 picks left in the draft.
So on my last pick, I picked a guy who drove in 96 runs a year ago on Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
So
Our Colorado Rockies friend has drafted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Rockies. I think Nate, congratulations, buddy. Will not be the last.
that's right.
Year. Cole Tucker gets taken. Lamonte Wade Jr. gets taken. And Kyle Finnegan, relief pitcher, Washington, the last pick. All right, let's look at our teams, Kevin.
Okay.
Let's start with you.
Okay.
Run us through your roster, what you're looking
Okay.
like.
Here's my roster. I got Marino as my catcher. Then I got Bellinger, first base, outfield. And then I got Simeon, Riley, Abrams, and second base, shortstop. I got Velope there. Paredes at first and third. My outfields are Harris, Robert, Santana, Mullins, and Schwarber is also a DH. My utility guy is Alvarez, catcher for the New York Mets. My pitchers are Strider, Castillo, Ryan, Eflin, Keller, Bednar, which is one my helped me crash. So I will not take any criticism for that selection.
Agreed.
Then I got Darvish, Eovaldi, Maeda, Harrison, and then Kanan. And then I took Polanco as a backup second baseman, and my last pick was Justin Turner, as I just mentioned, first base DH for Toronto.
I just feel like this is such a different draft for you than the last couple of years. You took some guys that were less sure things, in my opinion, than what you've done in the past. Some of them you took begrudgingly. Cody Bellinger, you took begrudgingly. I actually like that pick. We talked about Michael Harris in our last episode. You were higher on him than I am, and you got him.
I decided to go with what I, put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
Because I could have had him. That's going to be interesting because I took him over Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And so, because I had Harris higher than him. Yep. And so, I had it. So I went with it.
You took a swing at Schwarber higher than I expected you to. Again, you really, in listening to you, it seems like you hate guys that strike out, and Schwarber is the king of strikeouts.
And he is. But as I in this league is the only reason why I did that, because you need outfielders, and outfielders were going to go off the board, and there weren't going to be a lot of depth there. So that's why I did that at that point in the draft, which was 5th overall, taking a guy that had 40, whatever home runs he had a year ago. He plays every day. He walks a ton. And he had a 343 on base percentage, even though he hit 202 or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah.
He gets on base. And so that cancels out those strikeouts to me. Okay. So I'm just going to have to live with it.
To critique your pitching, Strider, clear number 1. I like Castillo as well. I'm not a fan of Joe Ryan, Zach Eflin, and Mitch Keller, but I like the way you rebounded with Darvish, Eovaldi, and Maeda later on in the draft. And then a couple of guys in Harrison and Canning that we'll see kind of how that one shakes out as well. Are you what would you grade your draft? A plus through F. What would you grade your draft?
I would not. I would give it. I'm going to say A minus.
Okay, I'm going to give it a B minus. But
okay.
That's not a bad thing. Okay, listen, I just had this conversation with somebody today. You don't got to get A's. You just got to pass. That's all that matters.
That's right.
I'm interested to see how it shakes out.
And I know that I'll be active on the waiver wire.
You will be, yeah. I'm just surprised. We talked a lot about versatility, and it took you a while to get versatility. You've got Bellinger, you've got Paredes, and that's really it offensively. Now, again, there'll be guys in the waiver wire that you can pick up and add that to it. And I love that you went 2 catchers. I love that you got the Mets guy, Alvarez, when you did, I think, and Moreno too. You got him really late.
I got him in the 18th, and then Alvarez on the 20th. So if you're going to take 2 catchers that has value, there it is right there. That's a value.
I do need you to change your name, man. We'll see is not. We got to go. We got to get something creative going on there. Okay.
Well, it's creative because I will see.
You will see, and we will. So I changed my team name this year to Brewing the Council Curse. So we're going all in on this. All right, let me give you my.
You get points.
I'll give you mine,
Okay,
and then you can critique my draft. Catcher late was Wilson Contreras. Is not the guy. I wanted William Contreras, and he got taken 2 picks before I was going to take him. So I settled for the brother, Wilson Contreras, Christian Walker. Go young with Jackson Holiday, Manny Machado, Corey Seager, Matt McLean, Vinny Pasquantino, Corbin Carroll. And I did not get another outfielder for a long time. And so after Carroll, I got Jorge Soler, Luis Rengifo, Jackson Churio, Aaron Judge, and Dalton Varsho, all outfield eligible. And then, well, let's start with that on the offenses. Oh, let me get my guys off the bench. Reese Hoskins, Jonah Heim, Colt Keith, and Miguel Garcia. I won't be able to keep all these guys. I'm going to have to get relief pitchers at some point. But on the offensive side of my draft, what do you see that you like? What do you see that you question?
Well, I see that you're kind of kicking yourself for getting Wilson Contreras, but I think that he's due for a kick up right there. So if you couldn't get a catcher early, I like that, and then you got Heim to back him up if anything goes sideways. And Contreras has that DH, so I like that. I like Walker. We've talked about him, and you dove a little bit earlier than I would have for him. But so you got him, and Pasquantino is a guy I like that value at that point in the draft. But your team's going to hinge on whether these rookies come through.
You're right.
Right?
I waited on outfielder,
which I
Kevin.
like a lot.
I waited on outfielder, and I got to the point where I started looking. And I thought, oh no, I need to draft outfielders, and I'm not sure there's anybody there. So talk to me about that. Not Corbin Carroll. We like Corbin Carroll. Talk about the other guys. You can pass on Varsho because I know you're out on him anyhow. But Judge, I got to wait on him. Got him later. Soler, Rengifo, and Churio.
We talked about Soler when we did outfielders. I like that pick up, and I think he's going to do well in San Francisco. I like that. Rengifo, since he's on the Angels, will be in the lineup. If he was on a different team, maybe not so much. Even though you got to like, and he was a guy that I liked because second, third, short, outfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's all he has to do is be in the Angels lineup. Doesn't matter where he plays. He just has to be in their lineup, and they're not going to be good. So he's going to be in their lineup. So, and Judge, you got him at a point. If it didn't have the injury by his name, he would have went off the board way earlier. And so I like that. All he has to do is be healthy. And so, we'll have to see on that. Churio, same thing. I like that. He was a value that I had. Maybe you took him a little earlier. But if they come through, you've got a young team that can, do something.
The thing I like about young guys is the injury risk is a lot less. And I take a risk on those guys. So when you look at, of course, I need Churio to make the opening day roster. I need Holiday to make the opening day roster. And then I got Matt McLean there and Corbin Carroll, too, two young guys that should be around. McLean and Carroll were the top 2 rookies last year.
Right.
I'd like to think they'd do well.
already went through an injury.
True.
That was last year.
All right, let's talk pitchers. I chose to go Corbin Burns in the first round with the 8th pick. Okay. It was between him and Corbin Carroll for me, and I wanted to get the other one the next time around. I chose to go Burns because pitching does score well in our league. So I get him, and it sounds like it was a good thing I took him, or else I wouldn't have got him, it sounds like, because Dad
right, because your dad confirmed that.
Then I go Zach Gallen, Chris Bassett,
like him.
Hunter Brown.
Guys are down on Zach Gallen, which I don't understand.
Yeah. Chris Bassett, Hunter Brown, Jordan Montgomery, who's without a team, Bryce Miller, who I love in Seattle. And then Yasai Kikuchi and Max Scherzer. Scherzer, of course, is going to go on my IL as soon as possible. Clark Schmidt from the Yankees I pull in. I am not a fan of Kikuchi or Schmidt. That being said, there was very limited options once we got to that point in the draft. Right. And Kikuchi actually scored. He scored fine last year. And so I think he was less of a risk than Clark Schmidt. But you look at the pitching there. What do you think about those guys?
Well, I really like the guys at the top of your rotation or your staff, however you want to look at. Burns, solid. Gallen, solid. Bassett, I like it. Brown, solid. Montgomery, once he signs, it's going to be interesting if he's not ready for the regular season. What can you do with him?
Right.
Can you put him on an IL spot?
No,
or not?
he'll just have to. No, he'll just have to sit on a bench.
Okay, but then, because I know you like Miller, I'm not as high on him. Scherzer could have went a little bit later because he's out. He's going to be out till August probably.
Yeah, he probably will end up. I'll put him on the IL, but if I need the IL spot, he'll be available on waivers.
Okay. And then we talked about Schmidt, and he's a guy that I would have taken if I could have.
Okay.
So I'm not as negative on that. But I like the top of your rotation. After that, it's Kikuchi, not feeling it. And he looks like he's going to go out and give you 6-7 innings, and the next time he gives you an inning and a third and gets blowed up for 7 runs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, fair enough.
I'm not feeling it on him. So the back end of your pitching staff is going to get shuffled a lot. I see.
Agreed. Well, and I'm trying to remember. We have what's our pitching limit? Do we have a pitching limit?
We do. It's 12 a week.
12 starts in a week. And so you don't need as many starting pitchers as I have at the end of the day.
Well, I have a few as well, so I'm right there with you. And
but I'm going to take a shot with these guys. I'll probably give it. I might make a move because I'll move Scherzer to my IL, and I'll go out and look for a relief pitcher. I need to see who's out there.
You probably could do that. You can't do it today or tomorrow, but Tuesday you could probably go out, put him on your IL, and get somebody else.
Yeah, I can get him on the IL, but the waivers don't clear until a couple of days.
It's probably Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm sure you can probably hit that pretty successfully.
Yeah, there's not a lot. There was a whole lot of relieving pitchers drafted, which blows my mind.
Well, there was a whole lot of them sitting there.
Yeah.
And, kind of like a cloud over a forest fire. And I wasn't going to dive into it.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't do it.
No.
Anyway, so for me, Seager was kind of the surprise pick for me. The two Rangers that everybody loves at second base and shortstop, for whatever reason, I just haven't been a huge fan of those guys, but they score. And so getting Seager where I got him, I felt like it was just the right place for him. Having, I've got Matt McLean who can play shortstop. I've got Jackson Holliday who can play shortstop, meaning that he makes the roster, of course.
Right.
I don't know. I'm intrigued by this team. I like going young, but it does bite me sometimes. But I'm different than you, whereas usually start off and have a great regular season. I kind of build throughout the year a little bit more. But only 4 teams make the playoffs in our league, so you can't get too far behind early on in the season either.
That's right. And even though a couple of years ago you did exactly that.
Yeah, I had to work.
So
I had to work hard.
We talked with Chase earlier, and as I recall, he had the 6th pick last year as well.
Yeah.
It's the same this year. And it just goes to show that, you don't have to have the first pick to make the playoffs or win, in fantasy. So he's an example of that. You just have to, take your picks, do your, I think that champions are made during the drafting of the waiver wires anyway. So my team is, maybe I'll have 10 guys left on my team by the time it's all said and done.
And what we're watching for this year is Austin Riley versus Adley Rutschman. I told Kevin to take Adley Rutschman. He takes Austin Riley. Obviously, Austin Riley is a top third baseman. And the other thing we're going to look at, Kevin, with you is not only the split between those two guys, but the difference between Austin Riley and Adley Rutschman points-wise versus the difference between Austin Riley and your catcher that you drafted points-wise. And then at the end, we'll see if it was worth it. And it probably is. Austin Riley's a great fantasy player, of course.
I can see it right now. It just popped up. Me versus Chase, week 1.
Week number 1 for all the marbles, right? Whoever loses
right.
is not allowed to be in the playoffs. That's the
That's
rules.
right. You got to go and go away and change.
Let's take a quick look. I know we're on 2 hours here. Quick look at the champs roster. Chase drafted Keibert Ruiz at catcher,
Okay.
Yandy Diaz, Nico Horner, Jose Ramirez, Carlos Correa, Jeff McNeil, Alec Bregman, Stephen Kwan, Masataka Yoshida, Lourdes Gurriel, Sal Frelick, Jordan Alvarez, Jake Cronenworth, Junior Caminero from Tampa, Logan O'Hoppe, the Angels catchers, Chris Bryant, and Teoscar Hernandez. Pitching wise, he's got Logan Webb, Logan Gilbert, Joe Musgrove, Tanner Bibby, Evan Phillips, Paul Sewald, Craig Kimbrell, Brady Singer, Tyler Rogers. That just doesn't sound like a championship roster to me, Kev.
No, it's no.
Bregman and Ramirez are solid.
I'm sorry, Chase. You went to your relief pitchers a little early, and I think Bryant's done, and Hernandez. We've talked about him. I liked O'Hop. I liked that a lot. I wasn't big on Quan. You brought me around just a little bit on him in a points league, but it's still too early. Yoshida, I don't like. I like Bregman. I was getting ready to take him before Chase swooped in and did that. McNeil, I'm not big on. Correa, okay. Ramirez, of course. Corner, of course. Diaz, it's a little. I think you could have got a first baseman with a little bit more value later. Ruiz, same thing. I think you could have done what I did and got my 2 catchers a little bit later and got more value out of that.
I just look at these rosters quickly, and this is just a quick look as we're talking. But I admit, I'm pretty happy with my draft, especially looking at other guys, what they've done. Just looking through, man, I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy with what I got. It's going to be a fun year. We're going to keep you up to date every single week. If you're still listening to us, by the way, thank you. We're going to keep you up to date every single week. We'll talk about our league. We'll make fun of guys who are doing poorly. We'll praise the guys who are doing well. And if we're doing good, we'll talk all about it. If we're doing bad, we won't talk about it at all. But we're going to have fun with this league, carry it all the way through. Right. We'll talk waiver wire pickups every single week. Once the season starts up, we'll start getting into that. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to come back around, look at the draft, look at some guys. We'll probably already start talking about some guys on the waiver wire. And then any, of course, updated news on injuries and things like that as well. We'll talk about all those things next week. Get us ready. We'll probably look at some redraft kind of ideas next week as well. Hey, if I could go back and get this guy, I kind of missed out on him. Those kinds of things. We'll talk about those things next week too. Kevin, what do you got coming out this week, article wise? I know you've been doing position stuff, but we're kind of past that.
Yeah, as I said at the top, we were on a little vacation run this week, so I didn't put it out an article this week. But I'm somewhere along the way there will be a draft analysis article coming out somewhere. I don't know if I'll analyze my own picks or if I'll analyze the first round or what exactly I'll do yet. But because I think we drafted just a little probably earlier than most. I think most will do it next weekend. So
well, there's a game this week, Kev.
There is. That's right.
Yeah.
There's 2.
Thursday.
Matter of fact.
Right. Thursday's the first game, I think.
Thursday and Friday.
Okay. Yeah.
They're playing 2 games, and Yu Darvish starts game 1 for the Padres, and against our good friend, I can't think of his name, but Yamamoto pitches. Tyler Glasnow. I'm sorry. Tyler Glasnow pitches on the first game, and Yamamoto pitches the second game. So we're going to see pretty early, right out of the gate, what kind of, what can we expect out of Yamamoto, even though it's early. But we'll see how that works out.
I've got 2 more drafts on Tuesday night. They're both ESPN leagues, so I'm thankful for that. And I got my oldest son in his first ever fantasy baseball league. He's 15, so he's in one of those leagues as well. One of them's a keeper league, which is a lot easier to draft for than than these leagues. But anyway, so we'll talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit on Sunday as well. I did drop an article this morning. Can the Brewers contend? So check that out on bellyupsports.com. Check out Kevin's stuff on bellyupfantasysports.com.
That's right. That's right. All the tiers, as you mentioned, are there.
They're
right
available
now.
Yeah.
All the articles that I've written since January are there. So consult those before draft day.
All right. Check out our friends over at SeatGeek. If you need a ticket, SeatGeek.com. Use the code BellyUpSports. You get $20 off your purchase. If you get hungry, and you know you will, you need to check out Righteous Felon Jerky. RighteousFelon.com. Use the code STOVE15, STOVE15, 15% off your purchase. And it shows support for the show, so we'd sure appreciate that as well. I want to say thanks to all of our members of our league for drafting, and we have to stay on to make sure they stay with it. But excited. We got some guys that and a lady that we've not really gotten to know too much yet, so excited to kind of get to know them throughout the year and to bring you all along on the journey as well.
That's right. And hopefully, be somebody that you can learn something from.
That's right. All right. So follow Kevin at Kevin62, WILSEA. You can follow me at Sports Stove. We'll be back next Sunday night with more fantasy baseball information for you. You can tune in Monday night to the Sports Stove Local Hour. Actually, now that I say that, I forgot to send my guest requests, so I may not have a show tomorrow night. But check out the show Wednesday night. Me and Dad will be talking the March Madness and NFL free agency.
The selection show was this evening.
This afternoon. Yeah, it happened before the draft here.
So fill out your brackets out there.
Fill them out. All right. Thanks for tuning in, man. 2 hours and 6 minutes, and we still got people watching. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the show.
Right, we appreciate that.
I hope it was a help to you, and we'll see you on throughout the rest of the season. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.